Today, I want to talk about the corporate recruiter screen and why you should get past the corporate recruiter screen 100% of the time. All right, if we need to allow room for error, maybe 99% because I don't control all the silliness in the world. But if you get a screen with a corporate recruiter, you are qualified and you should get at least one more round with the hiring official. So what happens if you don't? There's really 3 reasons why that's the case. I'm going to teach you what those are today. I'm going to tell you how to avoid them. But first, I do want to talk about why your go-through rate should be so high. All right, so first thing that I want you to imagine is you've submitted your resume, you've boss hunted, the boss has scooted it over to the resume, maybe you targeted, the recruiters, maybe you targeted the recruiter or HR person, maybe you even applied via the applicant trashing system, and yes, you were one of the lucky ones that actually got an interview. Either which way, what do I always tell you in interview intervention communication that gets you hired? If you're in a job interview, you are qualified. On paper, they're looking at you. Any recruiter that's going to set time on his or her calendar to talk to you, they're praying that they move you forward. They want to move you forward. Why? Well, number one, they don't want to take time on the calendar to talk to people that they can't move forward. But I want you to think for a second, just step back. What does the recruiter want more than anything? To fill the position as fast as possible. So the recruiter is assuming they're going to move you forward. And so what do you do from the time you go from being qualified when the recruiter wants to more than anything move you forward to you not moving forward? Well, I also want you to think about the recruiter's motivation from this standpoint. Not only does the recruiter want to fill the seat, but 15 years of surveys that we've run at milewalk with hiring officials, HR personnel, recruitment personnel, and others, we always ask the folks about the recruitment engine, especially the hiring officials who always chime in on this. We ask them to rank certain features of their recruitment engine, but also to write in what are the single biggest complaints that they have related to the recruitment engine. We give them multiple choice. We ask them to rank them. Number 1 and number 2, 15 years running. First complaint, you probably know what it is. Time to fill. Time to fill the position. It takes too long. That's number 1. Second one, not enough qualified candidates. That's always number 2. And even if you are a recruiter out there who I love recruiters, even if you filled the position in a day, a hiring official will complain they wanted it done in an afternoon. So I want you to realize that the recruiter is thinking, I want to fill this position, number 1, but it's not even my job to fill the position. It's the hiring official's job to fill the position. It's my job to reach out into the world, get the hiring official qualified candidates, as many as I can, as fast as I can. So if they're going to talk with you, they want to move you forward. If you've got the credentials in their mind, many times they've pre-reviewed your resume with the hiring officials to say, is this the kind of person you want me to talk to? Many, many times. So that's the first thing. And the second thing related to the recruiter is, even if the recruiter isn't 100% sold on you, they would rather get you into the process, because what else does that do for them? It saves face. It says, I'm doing my job. I'm getting you more candidates. So at a minimum, I'm making traction. If you don't like the people, that's up to you. But I'm telling you these folks are qualified and I'm getting them to you. So you have all this going for you. So what happens? Am I making you feel better right now or worse? This is really what's going on behind the scenes. So what's reason number 1 that you do not get past the recruiter? It has absolutely nothing to do with your qualifications. So item number 1, you're saying something that's unrelated to your function or your ability to do the job, because on paper they think you got the goods, right? And it knocks you out. Really what this should say is you said something silly that had nothing to do with the job, doing the job itself. What am I talking about? You know what's coming. Anybody ask you what your expected salary was? That has nothing to do with you actually doing the job, but you price yourself out. Maybe the job description says 50% travel. You say, oh, I really can only travel 25%. Now you don't have an interview with the hiring official. says we need you in the office every day. I'm not coming in the office. I need a remote job. Things like this. These are the things that bounce you because the recruiter is saying to herself, I am not going to go through this, get down to the end, and then this person is going to tell the hiring official they can't accept the job because they wanted to be fully remote. And then the hiring official is going to come and yell at me and say, why did you put that person through when I told you that I needed them in the office 5 days a week? Okay, you get the idea. You get the idea. Things like, well, I want to work for an international company when it's a domestic company. You follow me, you follow me, you follow me. Okay, that's item number one. And candidly, that is half the reasons. So if I had to give you a little pie chart, this is 50% of why you don't get past the recruitment screen in the first deal. Okay? All right. Second thing, I'm going to say this is the other 50%, even though I have a third item for you. So let's not think I'm bad at math because I took 9 semesters of higher math. Your communication stinks. Okay, now, how could your communication be poor? Well, you just don't talk well, right? Or you have difficulty actually communicating coherent thoughts. Maybe you could do the function, but you can't convey or communicate effectively or interact effectively, or the way in which you're interacting is not sending off good vibes, right? Maybe you just don't feel likable, or maybe you don't talk smoothly. Maybe you're a little too casual. Maybe you're a little too formal. Who knows? It could be anything. That's item number one when it comes to communication. Item number two when it comes to communication is you know what you're doing. You just have a hard time conveying to the recruiter what you're all about. So you could sound like the best orator in the world, but maybe what you're actually saying isn't effective. This, while I would say the other half falls into this bucket, or near the other half falls into this bucket, believe me when I tell you that even if your communication is remotely passable, the recruiter will want to move you forward, because what the recruiter will say to the hiring official is, they've really got all the goods. Well, of course you do, right? You got the screen to begin with. You might want to check the interaction or the communication skills or something like that. They might pass that along because they do not want the hiring official to find out that they had somebody with great credentials that they didn't put forward. The hiring official would prefer to bounce the person from the process rather than having the recruiter bounce the person from the process. So unless your communication is really, really poor, you should be able to get past the recruiter. All right, this is the second reason. Now, because I do say always and never a bit, but I don't like to be that extreme unless I truly mean it. And I do want to leave room for the possibility that there is a rare skill that you are missing that they really, really want. Or the way I would really articulate item number 3 here is maybe there was a skill that they wanted. It wasn't really a must-have, but it was either a must-have or a total luxury. But they had enough other candidates that they'd already screened who had what they needed and you didn't. So if that's the case, if you say anything that does not make it sound like you're going to fit, and your communication isn't so great that I am willing to overlook the fact that you do not have something that I would absolutely love to have, then I'm not going to move you forward. And I will admit that there are some scenarios where the recruiters will indicate this, that we really would have loved for you to have this. And while it might not have been the highest priority skill, we were able to find other candidates who had everything that we needed. And that does happen. I will say this is very, very rare. Because if you get the screen, the recruiter is thinking, I need to get this person into the hiring official's pipeline as quickly as possible. And I want to set a good table for my hiring official and let the hiring official know that I'm filling some seats. They can eat at the table and figure out who they want to keep for dessert, so to speak. But these are the 3 primary reasons that you do not get past a recruiter. So number 1, I want to remind you, don't say anything that bounces you. And you might say, well, Andy, I don't really want to get in the office 5 days a week. I don't care. I'd rather you get into the recruitment process, you wow them, get it to the point where they cannot unsee you, they fall so in love with you, and if you get down to the end and you don't want to accept it, I want you to be the one to have the choice to do that. I don't want the recruiter or the hiring official bouncing you prematurely from the process. I want you to have the decision. So don't say anything up front. Don't bounce yourself. Work the communication. I've given you umpteen videos on my YouTube channel, all free of charge, where you can improve this. And I've taught you how to tell stories, how to connect with recruiters and all that good stuff. And you know what? Occasionally, let's leave room for the possibility that maybe you don't have something they need, but I'm telling you that if you're in the interview, you are qualified, which means that as long as you are good on the other two, you are probably good to go. Okay. That's it for today. I hope that helps illuminate a little bit of what's going on with the recruiters. I hope it helps you raise that batting average closer to 1,000 when you get into these corporate recruitment screens. If you enjoyed this video, please click the like button, share this. People need help. Make sure you subscribe to the station. If you're here with me live, we are going to the Q&A. If you're watching this on the recording, I'll see you next week.